Hello, YouTube. This is Keith Kevin Ken. How you doing? How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Well, here's the deal. My birthday is tomorrow. I'm recording this on July 19th, 2020. It's been one hell of a year. I turned 61 years old tomorrow. And what I've been doing on Instagram is I've been posting pictures of the knives that I bought in 2019. I did a number of videos on those knives close to the beginning of this year in January. You can catch those on this playlist, the Knife of the Day playlist. Go through, you can see a series of videos where I talk about a bunch of knives that I bought in 2019. But what that really brought up in my mind is it's actually been 6 months already in 2020. Half the year is done. Half of the year is done. And I was waiting for Spyderco to finally email me for new knives. And then I thought, well, let me just pull out all of the knives that Spyderco has sent to me so far in 2020. What you see on the desk, because my camera won't fit it in frame as well as I wish it was, what's actually on my desk is 59 knives, okay, that I just got half the year through in 2020. 59 knives. Now, there's about 53 when I don't count the knives that I bought duplicates of or that I bought so that I could complete a set. I'm going to talk about those knives in here, but we're talking about over 50 knives already distributed through Spyderco. Some of them are sprint runs. Some of them are distributor exclusives, but all of them are from Spyderco. So we're going to go over those during this video. I'm going to try not to make it as long as possible. I'm not going to tell how big the sizes are. All of these knives already have their own videos on this channel, so if you want more in depth, go check them out. So let's get started. This is a very special series of Spyderco natives. Spyderco is working with Abel Reel, Abel Reel. They're a real upscale fish tackle kind of company. They do a lot of fly fishing reels that have this kind of detail. 3 of them they worked on with Spyderco. This is the bonefish one. It's just a really hard to find exclusive. You can buy it on Abel's website, but I'm so happy to have that. Everyone was waiting for the smock, the original smock, because smock, of course, has a wonderful Instagram and was well known. And then Spyderco dropped that a couple of years ago. Well, they just dropped from Knife Joy this year a new smock. Same design, but upgraded steel. And I love that instead of the pill ply carbon fiber, they have this smooth G10. It's the new smock with 20 CV steel, and of course that wonderful lock and that very small flipper. That was on me. My hands are already slippery. But I like this smock, the Knife Joy exclusive, a lot better than the original, actually. Of course, everyone wanted to know about the bombshell. This is a real special knife from Spyderco. Let me see, how many? I forget how many. Limited edition, they only do a limited edition and they won't do them again. This, of course, is number 23 because that's my collector's number. Just a really nice knife. Well done. It's the bombshell from Spyderco. Of course, the sway back, everybody was waiting for it too. This was created by the same person who created the Techno, the Spidey Chef, and the Bowie. This is the sway back. Real nice knife. You see a lot of sway backs in traditional knives. Other people have done the sway back. This has CTS XHP steel. Bigger than I thought it would be. Smooth. Just like all of his other knives too. So well built with that titanium scales. It's a real nice knife. Something you should look at picking up. If it's still available. Again, that's the sway back. Here's a knife that I really liked from Spyderco. It's the Siren. The Siren was designed by a person who is a kayak fisherman. LC 200N steel. So that is Spyderco's rust-proof steel. It will not rust. It's made up of the same steel that NASA has, ball bearing steel. Won't rust. You know, Spyderco has H1 steel and LC 200N. This is the Siren. Just a real nice, grippy G10, thin knife. It has blue inside. So the G10 is black on the outside, blue on the inside. Just a real nice, everyday knife. Great EDC knife and a fishing knife, if that's something that you're interested in. Or if you're in a place with a lot of moisture, it's a great knife. It will not rust on you. Here's the Canis, a new knife from Spyderco. Wharncliffe blade. The big thing is the swedge on the top. They're so distinctive. Compression lock. Carbon fiber on top of G10. Smooth right out of the box. Just a real nice knife. Again, what I'm doing right now in this video is just showing you every single knife that Spyderco distributed in the first part of this year, 6 months. Yeah, it's the Watu. Sprint Run, carbon fiber, S30V steel. Again, Wharncliffe blade with that, I always call this like the Yojimbo shape right there. It's really nice. Comes to a great point. Smaller knife with the compression lock. It's just so classy. This is a great EDC knife, but also, I think, a gentleman's folder with that wonderful wire clip as well. Speaking of the Yojimbo, this was a blacked out Yojimbo 2 that Spyderco released, which is really great. S30V steel. It's blacked out. The one thing that I like about this blacked out Yojimbo, all the hardware. Now, Spyderco does a lot of blacked out knives. You'll see a couple of them here during this video. But what I like is they even blacked out the compression lock. Yeah, with the liners inside. Usually you'll see a blackout, but they won't black out the compression lock. This is the only one I've seen. And for a tactical knife, great for EDC as well, but for the Yojimbo 2 as a practical knife, to have it blacked out is just really nice. That should be available. And then something they just released. Yes. Yojimbo. Brand new knife. It's the Yojimbo instead of the Yojimbo 2. It's 4-inch blade. It is a big Yojimbo. Just a real super nice knife. Super nice knife. S30V steel. Great for the collection. Those really are kind of like one-offs this year that Spyderco released. Now let's talk about some other knives that Spyderco has done that I really like. They released The Tenacious Lightweight. Of course, Tenacious is one of the original value folders from Spyderco. The value folders are the folders I started my collection from Spyderco. I was so happy that they finally did lightweight with the black FRN scales with this knife. It is reasonably priced. It's available. It has 8CR 13 MOV steel. Let me tell you, we're going to talk about a lot of fancy steels and a lot of different steel, but that steel cuts, okay? It's a really nice steel. Inexpensive steel, but really nice steel. So they did the lightweight, the plain edge satin, so it's a lot of variety. There are so many value folders now, even new ones that they've been introducing. This year, they'll introduce some more. Last year, the last couple of years, that you can do a really great, affordable collection of Spydercos just using the value folders. This is the partial serrated. The serrated. Whoops, I better watch it because when I was starting out, I cut myself a lot on these. Those were the satin. Then they have the blacked out with the black blade, black FRN scales, and everything blacked out the hardware. These are really nice. Again, value folders. Great EDC all-around knives. Great way to start a collection as well. So this is the plain edge, partial serrated, and of course the serrated. I just showed you 6 Tenacious lightweights. Okay, they do have full liners, stainless steel liners, liner lock, 4-way, right, 4-way clip, right, left, tip up, tip down. That's a collection right there of 6 knives, okay? All of them around $50. So that's a good start to a really nice Spyderco collection. Or if you need a group of knives that you want to beat up or try modifying a lot of, it's a great collection. Spyderco also released a bunch of Pacific Salt 2s with black FRN scales. They have the rust-proof H1 steel on the black ones. Of course, plain edge with a back lock. They are, if you're wondering about the Pacific Salt 2s, again, these are built whether you're fishing or you're around water because they have the H1 steel. But frankly, if you're EDC and it's raining outside or snowing outside or whatever, if you just don't want to have to wipe down the knives and all this, these are 100% rust proof, the H1 steel. They're like an Endura. They're just like an Endura, except for the steel. So that's the plain edge. And then they also released the serrated. You know, when you're doing fishing or whatever, it's great to have serrated with the fishing line, hunting or whatever you want to do, or just EDC. And then they blacked it out. Again, remember, this is an Endura, but you have a rust-proof H1 blade steel. Back lock, 4-way clip, plain edge, and the serrated as well. And then what they did was they released 2 Pacific Salt 2 with the yellow scales. They have the yellow scales because if you're in the water and you lose it, it's easier to identify, find in water, etc. Just a real nice, again, H1 steel, kind of the profile of the Endura, plain edge, and then the serrated edge. See that? Of course, Spyderco, those are really nice EDC knives. But of course, Spyderco did not leave us without, trying to make sure I have my notes here, did not leave us without some other different knives. This is the Endura. Remember last year when Spyderco introduced the Endura? It's a knife smaller than the Endura but bigger than the Delica. It is exactly in between. Well, what they did was they released one with this dark gray FRN scales, which is great, and an Emerson opener. Of course, you know the Emerson opener. Put it in your pocket, and as you pull it out, it catches your pocket and automatically releases the blade. That's the Endura. I'm expecting more variations with the Endura. We haven't seen a lot. What a beautiful Endura. As I said, the Endura, the big partner to the Delica. This was a producer's exclusive with the teal FRN scales and S30V steel instead of the usual V10 steel, S30V steel. And then Zume, again, a distributor exclusive, distributor exclusive with the Zume hand-painted FRN scales. And then 2 Zume Delicas, satin blade, and the black blade as well. And these are VG10 steel. All 3 of those, the 2 Delicas and the Endura. I'm still making my way through this. I am. Here's another producer exclusive Delica Zume, but this is also upgraded steel with HAP 40 steel. Again, Zume, for instance, it's a Japanese art. So the FRN scales, this would have orange scales, and then they would hand paint in the black. So none of the Zumes are exactly the same. So a real nice knife with HAP 40 steel as a Delica. I might do this. I'm going to do this in 2 videos. So I'm not going to do all of these right here. I'm going to uplink the first part, part 1, and then later on today I'm going to uplink part 2. So we're going to do 2 parts where we look at every single knife released by Spyderco the first 6 months of this year. This is the Ladybug. It was interesting. They released the Ladybug in the first reveal. This Ladybug has K390 steel. And I was like, that's interesting. Just a Ladybug. But in the second reveal, which we expect during the next couple of months, all of those knives, we're going to get the Delica, the Endura, all of the Man Bug. I think we get the Stretch too. All of the Japanese knives will be done with K390. And these are all production knives, not sprint runs, not producer exclusives. I don't know. I haven't been replacing these knives. I've been putting them in the back. But yeah, I love St. Nick's. I love their exclusives. They sell out super quick. But St. Nick's did their black with red G10 line. This time they did it with the Manix 4. Of course, it's with Crucible's 4V steel. Sold out quick, hard to get, but a wonderful addition to the collection. Another Manix 2. Lightweight with S90V black blade, black wire clip FRN scales, the bright orange FRN scales, a distributor exclusive. And then just recently, Blade HQ did their setup with Spyderco. Sold out in a couple of minutes. The Manix 2 XL with CPM M4 steel and that natural G10 see-through G10 with full liners, skeletonized, with the satin blade. And they did something different. At the same time, they released the same knife with the black blade and the black hardware. Everything the same. Sold out quickly, both of them. That's the end of part one. I'm going to adjust the camera, get all the rest of the knives in the frame, and we're going to do another video, okay? And that will be, I got 3 rolls of more knives that were just released the first part of this year. We're 6 months into 2020. I'm celebrating my birthday, taking a look at all of the knives released by Spyderco, every last one of them. Sprint run, distributor, exclusives, or straight from Spyderco that are already out there, already released. We're going to continue this in part 2. I'm going to upload that today as well. But, you know, it would make this an hour-long thing, and I don't want to do that. Enjoy this video. Know that another one is coming your way. Don't forget to subscribe. Turn on your notifications. I appreciate all of you. Take good care of yourselves. Stay healthy, okay? Keep those pockets full. Goodbye.